This video is for you if you'd like to have a few quick and easy piano pieces in your fingers so that if a student needs something that they can learn quickly and easily in a beginner piano lesson, then you've got some fun tricks up your sleeve. Okay, let's start right at the very beginning. So say you have a young beginner and you're like, they want to play Old MacDonald. Now that's a really retro favorite, and we're going to get into some more popular pieces or retro rock favorites. But first of all, I might teach them just E-I-E-I-O. And they can play with their second finger or their third finger. If they're already using more fingers, they could try E-I-E-I-O. And I use this online and in person, and I might play the duet very simply so that eventually they could learn this too, like this. Pause. The student goes. The teacher. Student. Student. Sometimes we do a little splash at the end. Maybe that's the farmer falling into a puddle. So that is one of the first pieces I start with because it's interactive. It teaches that like stop and listen and call and response sort of ideas from the start, and it works well online and in person. The next one I love to teach is the Minecraft theme. So again, it's on black keys, which sometimes helps the students have their wrists slightly raised if they're sitting at the right height. So watch that your students' elbows aren't pulling them down too low. I have other videos on piano position if that's helpful. So here's our Minecraft theme. If they're ready, they can play these two notes at the same time to begin with, but if not, I'll show you with just the top note. If you use these two. So that one is beautiful and gentle, and it uses the black keys, and sometimes it's a springboard for improvising because they can also create putting the pedal down and create a piece in the style of Minecraft, which would be they could use any black keys and really be successful with that. So the next one is a retro rock favorite, We Will Rock You by Queen, and it could be as simple as starting on F and going, we will rock you. Ba, ba, Now, something I also sometimes do with students is split it between the hands, so they could get their fingers 2 and 3 ready on these and do it like this. A little echo. Now, there's ways you can expand on that. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to do the longer version of that, or you might figure it out yourself. Okay, let's take a look at a recent request for Married Life. It's from the movie Up, and it's just this sweetest little melody, and it goes like this. And again, I've experimented with putting it into 2 hands, but it could be played with the right hand as well. And I love that it's simple and sweet. The piece is, of course, longer than that, but I love that even that little bit will bring a beginner student a lot of joy, and they'll work really hard to coordinate their hands. You can, again, use it with just one hand or the other. And this one, if it expands, will have a B flat. You can go farther than that and choose a different finger plan. But for that little sample, I love splitting it between the hands. The next one that I did recently was a request from Geometry Dash, and this one may drive families a little crazy, but it uses it in fifths, so you can teach it with one hand if a student's ready to use that open bridge, or you can teach it with two fingers like this. Or and I used that recently with a beginner student who's almost a teen, and it felt fun to do that. They also noticed that it was the chord progression to Don't Stop Believing, so that was really fun. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. So that was a really neat ear transition into expanding on those ideas for future. The next piece that was also a recent request was Pirates of the Caribbean. So in this one, I have taken a look of it in this position, and it sounds like this. And that again worked really well in a hand position that suited beginner students. It of course has that ear-based rhythm, da da dun dun da da dun da. But a lot of students are familiar with that sound, and so the rhythm comes very naturally for them. I also wrote a little duet for that because that was my own son's request, and so I said I better go the extra mile like I do for my own students, and so I actually did write that one down so I could preserve it, and I have a little duet copy that at some point I may publish as well. There's three more pieces. One of them is the Pink Panther. Sometimes I teach students this whole introduction. And you'll be surprised at how many students actually, if they're an older beginner, they actually can do this slide up, down to B, up to E, 2, 3, slide up, down to B, up to E, 2, 3, slide down, down to G, up to C, 2, 3, slide up to B, up to E. And it has such swagger that it's a fun introduction, and it just sounds fun and familiar. It can also be done with just one hand and without the extension down if you like. The next one is an anchor point on the top note of the two black keys and the Pink Panther with just one hand. It goes like this. So that one's really fun for students that have a pretty good spatial awareness at the keys, and you can teach it in little sections, and again, lots of fun. Fits really well under the keys. It can be expanded on with open fifths in the left hand as well. Here's a recent request, Imperial March from Star Wars. And this one, if you get ready with a third finger on E flat in the left, a thumb on G, and a 2-finger on E flat, you'll have space to do a bit of an expanded version like this. So that's just that opening part that's very recognizable and fun, can be expanded, and then you'd use different places of the keyboard, but that alone is a fabulous sample. The last one is Happy Birthday, and we can actually try it with our left hand finger 4 on D. I've traditionally taught it in F, but lately I figured out that it's a bit easier to figure it out here. So there's another way of using a fun scale position in untraditional ways and teaching some rote learning to your beginner piano students. I hope that was fun for you and that you'll have more ideas of your own. I'd love to hear which ones were your favorites, and if you have a whole bunch of other ones that you've used with students. I know I have others, but we'll start with those 9. Thanks for listening.